After walking away from this movie, I can clearly understand why I didn't see a lot of promotional material for it. Um, because I don't think that it was worth it. Even though Midway has a production budget of what, like $100 million, which I believe is an insane amount for any war movie. I know that they need really large budgets in order to really fully realize what happened and recreate certain things. But my God, I just clearly all of that money went to the CGI because the CGI is great. But as far as this as a movie, as far as this as a actual piece of entertainment, it leaves a lot to be desired. And that's very disappointing because I really was expecting, if nothing else, just a thoroughly entertaining visual spectacle. I got a visual spectacle, but I wasn't very entertained. Now, this movie reminds me a lot of the movie that came out, 10, 15 years ago, Pearl Harbor, starring Ben Affleck. And as bad as that movie was, I feel like that movie was better. Now, I could just be looking at that movie with rose-colored glasses, which I can admit to. I can admit that maybe I'm looking at that movie like it's a lot better because I just saw this one. But man, it just seems like that film was so much better than this, even though they essentially tell the same story. I know that that movie was mainly about Pearl Harbor, and this one kind of goes into Pearl Harbor and a few other events that happened after that. But somehow, even though this covered more ground, I feel like if they had just focused on one thing, maybe it would have been a more entertaining film. But since they focused on so many things, I feel like they just kind of lost focus there. One of my major gripes with this film is that no one actually really stands out. Ed Skrein as Lieutenant Richard Best, he really tries to do his best here, but he just doesn't have that leading man energy or that, leading man charisma throughout the film. He tries, and I have to give him that. He definitely tries, but he just gets lost in the sea of CGI or, explosions or something. You just forget that he's even there, even though the movie wants you to see him. The movie wants you to know Ed Skrein is in this movie. He is a star. He is a main character. You have to care about this guy, and I just didn't. The same goes for everyone else in the cast. Patrick Wilson, Luke Evans, Aaron Eckhart, Nick Jonas somehow pops up at some point. Honestly, the only person who really made an impression was Mandy Moore as who plays Ann Best. And she didn't really have a lot to do in this movie, but somehow she was the most memorable out of everyone. That to me makes the movie feel like a failure when absolutely no one in the film is memorable except for maybe a character who is, a side character at best. But she just left a better impression on me than the rest of this cast did. As far as the story goes, it's a story that's been told before, but it just wasn't told well. I feel like they were trying to make this an emotional movie, really show how the characters felt about what was going on and how it affected them and their personal lives and everything, but it ultimately fell flat. And the way that they told this story, even though they try to give it like a more balanced, nuanced view, we go in depth about what the Japanese were going through or where their minds were when they were planning these attacks or what even led to the attack on Pearl Harbor, and how some of the Americans were feeling and what made them respond the way that they did. So we get a more balanced view in that respect, but everything else just literally feels like it's just filler for the next battle. I feel like everything is just like lines being said at the screen until someone else starts shooting or something else is blown up, and then we can look at that. And that would be fine if the explosions and the actual action sequences in the movie were enjoyable. For some reason, they were bland. I mean, they were very gorgeous. They were good to look at, especially the beginning of the film where you have where you have the Japanese who are attacking Pearl Harbor and everything. That was a horroring sequence, and it actually did drum up some feelings within me. But after that, they just weren't able to reach those heights again, and it just looked like a bunch of CGI, a bunch of explosions, a bunch of dramatic music, and people making faces and saying things that didn't really seem to matter. And I feel like for a film like this, for it not to feel like it has a soul is really going to hurt this movie, especially going into the weekend. I know that they weren't expecting this movie to make much more than $15 million in its first weekend. It may even make less than that, because I don't see anybody telling anyone else that this is a movie that you have to go see. It doesn't seem like it's essential viewing, and that really sucks. It is Veterans Day weekend, so you would think that they would release a movie that was strong for the troops and everything, but instead they just released this, and I don't think that it really gives any justice to the troops or the men who lost their lives during this time. I just feel like it just all kind of just falls flat. I feel like it takes itself a lot more seriously than it is, and it just doesn't work. A lot of what they try to do here just doesn't work, and it really sucks, especially a movie that's coming out during this weekend. I feel like it should be so much better. I feel like it could have been so much better. There's a lot of talent in this movie that I feel has been wasted. And it's like, what was the point? Why did you guys choose these people, put them in this film, spend so much money on it, if you weren't going to make a movie that was worth all of this, that was the quality that it should have been? And I think I have the answer to that with the director here, Roland Emmerich, who you may know from the Independence Day films, and he just did Independence Day Resurgence, which was complete and total garbage. And while this movie is a little bit better than that, okay, you can't really expect much from this guy. I mean, come on, really? All right, I didn't even know that he directed it until after I saw the movie. So it all makes so much more sense now why this movie just was garbage, okay? It was garbage. I saw on social media that someone said, if you're giving this movie a bad review, then you're not American. That's not the truth. All right, the movie was bad. All right, as a film, the movie's bad. It has good CGI. I think it's well intentioned, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work as a film. It doesn't actually make you feel much of anything. No one who's saying any of their lines, none of it comes out as everything comes off as fake or robotic. And while you do have some people like Woody Harrelson and Patrick Wilson who really try to do the most with their lines, and even Ed Skrein, it's just not enough. It's not enough to elevate the movie much. I mean, much higher than like D level, and that really sucks because I was really looking forward to this. But I completely understand why there was really no promotion for this movie at all. I was seeing promotion for 1917 before I saw promotion for this film, and I was wondering why, because 1917 isn't even out yet. 1917 comes out in like late December or something, and that movie is getting a lot more traction than Midway got. And it's understandable because the movie looks like it's going to be better quality. It looks like it's going to be a better film overall, while Midway looked like it was going to be a CGI fest. But I thought that it would just be better. I don't know why. I saw it in the Dolby Cinematic format. And while that did add a little bit of something to it, it just wasn't enough. Everything just didn't work. Midway just didn't work. It does have good CGI. I think it's a well-intentioned attempt at retelling a story about, retelling a piece of American history, and that's fine. But if you're not going to do it right, why do it at all? Okay, and I do feel like it comes off as a cash grab when you release a movie like this. During Veterans Day weekend, when some people who are really patriotic are going to go out and see this, and then you feed them this. I don't think it's fair. Okay, I'm not a fan of this. I can't recommend it. if you were planning on going to see this, save your money, go see something else like Last Christmas or something, because this is it's just not worth it. At least not in theaters. Okay, you'll probably get a few minutes of entertainment out of it, and after like that fifth or sixth, CGI explosion, you start to wonder why you're even there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you excited for Midway? Do you even know what it is? Are you familiar with it at all? And if you are, what do you think of this review? Does this make sense to you? Do you agree with the things that I said about a war movie feeling soulless and like a cash grab or fake? Do you think that that's worth seeing in theaters? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you have not done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can get more content like this, which contains movie news, reviews, and reactions from your boy Derek right here at Anamanji. Don't forget to click that like button, and do not forget to click that bell notification so that you will know when I post again. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay dope.